So no real rush here today, but we finished up the 3/5 compromise and the Great Compromise, correct?
Yes.
And then I told you that we will have reading tonight, okay, which could turn into reading Tuesday night. So depending on the weather, forecast is not, depending on how you say it, does not look good, or it looks good, right?
About the reading, will you explain Hamilton's writings at all?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you do your best, and then I'll come in like we've done before and say, hey, what do you think about this? And what was the main topic here? Some of the papers I'll expand on more than others. Like personally, I love to talk about Federalist number 10 by Madison because I think it's so relevant today. Some of it is important for understanding, the value of checks and balances, the value of the judiciary, and they do a really nice job of explaining how the Constitution works. Okay, because listen, guys, the Constitution is a very small document, right? This is it, okay? And this includes the 27 amendments. So if I take the amendments out, this is 20 pages of this small little thing here, okay? Which you can fit small writing on a sheet like that, the Constitution, okay? So it's broadly written, okay? These 85 essays are not. They're in great detail. So if you want to impeach the president once or maybe twice, you want to impeach him, okay? For high crimes and misdemeanors. That's all it says. What does that mean? Guys, this baby has an index in it. And you can look up impeachment and find references in several different federal papers to impeachment, okay? So this really explains the Constitution. So if you're a constitutional attorney, federal judge, you need to read this, okay? Because it explains everything. All right. So you're just going to read 5 excerpts of 5 papers that I chose, and we'll talk about it. Okay. And if we have a pretty good discussion on that, you'll get points. Good points. Free points. Bonus, not bonus points. Points. Okay. So that will be tomorrow or next Wednesday. Okay. There's a 74% chance of 4 inches or more. There's a 37% chance of 8 inches or more.
Actually, so basically,
it'll slow around.
We're gonna get weather. We're gonna get weather. It's supposed to start after midnight. The wind is going to shift when you guys get out of school. Anything to add, weatherman? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So we have to get down to business. We have what often referred to as a bundle of compromises at the end of this thing. Okay. We got the great one. We settled the dispute between the southern states, the slaveholding states, and the non. And so now, one of the things we got to figure out is who this executive is going to be and what we're going to call him. What did Hamilton want to call him? Or king? Some people thought that Hamilton was a closet monarchist. Okay, he wanted to give the executive a lot of power. Okay, and that would be kind of awkward going from King George to King George. Yes. So we're going to use the term president. Okay, and who is going to elect this president? Well, some of the delegates wanted the Congress to elect the president. And then others said, no, we should let the people choose the president. And the others said, no. You don't want the people to choose the president. That's a bad idea. Yeah.
Where did we get the word president
Look it up.
Wait,
You're asking me questions I've never answered. Yes,
why did they think it was a really bad idea for people?
because people are
Stupid.
uneducated.
I know, but aren't they
They're
also
busy, they're farming, they don't have time to pay attention to this stuff.
Then why do we?
So yesterday when I asked you to name your two senators,
Yeah, you could.
I know, I understand, but I'm saying like, isn't that what we do now? Don't we like?
no, you don't elect the president, vice president.
We vote.
Yes, you vote.
I don't understand how that.
Well, you're about to find out, and it's great. Let's go. Huh? Yes.
Can you just like clarify something real quick? Sorry.
Mr. Right?
Apparently
I was
not.
gonna say France. What?
Are we talking about like our system we have now?
Yes, ma'am. Because we're talking about the U.S. Constitution
Okay, that's what I need.
and what they compromise on. You with me? So they're not going to choose Congress to do it, which would be what kind of system? Because you guys are smart. And we're not going to do a popular vote because that would be. Oh wow! Damn it! See, there's a reason I like getting out of bed every morning. Be with you people. Okay, so we're going to choose a third option called the electoral. Oh. Now, let me explain this for those of you that don't have a real good handle on this, which is probably more than just you. Okay? So, all right. We said at the beginning, in 1790, the first Congress had 65 members of the House and 26 senators. Today, we have how many members of the House? 100 senators. Okay? Now, there's one place in the contiguous United States where people live that's not a state. Washington, D.C. Now, guys, up until the 23rd Amendment to the Constitution, people that lived in the District of Columbia could not vote for president and vice president. So the 23rd Amendment gives Washington, D.C. the same number of electors as it would have if it were a state, which is 3. Because they have a small population, they get 1 house, they get 2 senators. Everybody gets 2 senators, right? So you're at 538, okay? Yes? Divide that in half. 69, okay? Now you need a majority to win. +1. The magic number is 270. Now, and let me come over here. This poster's awesome, and I can't wait till I get my next one. Okay, but C-SPAN hasn't come out with the new one yet. So, all right. So look at Kansas. We have 6. These are electoral college totals. Kansas has 6 electoral colleges. With me? How many members of the House does Kansas have? 4. Okay, I'll come back over. Okay. One, 4, 2, 3. Okay. Each one of these 4 districts of Kansas has roughly 800,000 people in it, 780,000. Okay. Each one. So we have 4 members out of the House based on population, and we get 2 senators. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get 6 electoral college votes. Yes? Okay. Now look at that map and tell me how many members of the House California has. How many members of the House?
Is that the one with
Population.
35 or?
Yes. How many do they have?
50.
Yes. All right. How many members of the House does Texas have? Yes. Okay, you're catching on. Okay, so if I were to ask you the question on the test, how do you determine how many electors a state has? The answer would be what? Tim?
House seats divided, or minus Senate seats, sorry.
Plus.
Plus.
House plus Senate. Or total number of members of what? Total members of Congress. Everybody with me? Okay? It's not based on population. It's based on the total number of members of Congress. Yes? Okay. Now, when we go vote in Kansas, there are 6 electors at stake. Okay? Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Tree Hugging Party, they all nominate 6 people to be electors. 4 sixes, not 3, right? Now, okay. Now, if you get 51% of the popular vote in Kansas, okay? Everybody votes. There's 3 million people in Kansas. And if you get 51% of the vote, you get all 6 electoral college votes. In 48 of the 50 states, it's winner take all. If you win the popular vote in those states, you get all the electors. California, you win by 1 vote. You get all 55. Follow me? Now, Kansas is a red state. So Trump won it in 2020. Trump won it in 16. Mitt Romney won it in 12. McCain won it in 08. Bush won it in 04 and 2000. You with me? So the Republican Party of Kansas choose 6 people. It could be me. It could be me. Say I'm a longtime Republican in the state of Kansas. Maybe I served in the state election. Maybe I'm the former governor of Kansas. Just somebody that I know is a Republican. And they're not going to switch their vote. Okay? It could be anybody. Okay? These 6 people will travel to D.C. on January 6th to cast your vote for president and vice president. Now, if you voted for the Democrat, if you voted for Hillary or Biden, well, your electors are staying home because you lost. They don't go to D.C., right? Follow that? And
No, I got confused when you put 4 sixes up there.
so these are all political parties. They all have candidates running for president.
But each state has. I'm confused what the number 6 means.
4 plus 2.
No, I know. Okay, that's okay. Keep going. 4 districts plus. No. Just keep going.
Okay, so an elector is just a delegate that each party chooses to go vote for president, vice president. And if you win the majority, if your party wins the majority, your candidate wins the majority of the votes in that state, your party gets to send its electors, all the other parties stay home. Now, there's 2 states that do it differently. Nebraska and Maine. Now, if you look at Nebraska,
Yeah, good enough.
yeah,
Just
is the curve over there? Isn't there a little curve? Yeah, like that. Then there's a little notch out. Nice. What are you, from Nebraska? All right, well, help me out. Most of the people in Nebraska live in the east, yes? Because you got Lincoln and Omaha, right? I got those in the right spot. Yes. Okay. Now, they say on a Saturday in the fall, during a football game at the University of Nebraska, that the biggest city in Nebraska on a Saturday is the football stadium. The majority of the people in the state are in that stadium right now. Any guys ever been to a football game at the University of Nebraska? Heck yeah. Good time. Tailgate like I've never seen before. I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to other stadiums. Nebraska does it like it's freaking awesome. Okay. It's crazy. Now, when I was there 3 years ago to see my Buckeyes kick the crap out of the Cornhuskers, which was fabulous, okay, I saw people wear, this is funny, saw people wearing MAGA hats, but they weren't MAGA hats, they were red hats. They said, make Nebraska football great again. Okay? Because they were, well, they've been bad for a while. Which sucks for them, because what else you got to root for in Nebraska, you know? All right. So Nebraska has 5 electoral college votes, which means, Kaylin, how many members of the House does Nebraska have if it has 5 electoral college votes? 3. Is you right? I was going to say 3. Okay, now, so normally your districts would look like this. Okay, so you got these 2 big cities, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but what Nebraska does, since they have 5 electoral college votes, they use a district system, so they draw 5 districts just for this purpose only, for the election. So you got the 2 big cities here, okay, and you got one here, you got one here, you got one there, you got one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, in 2012, Obama won this district. That's why it's purple. Because that's where the college is, where all the liberals are, right? Yes? Okay. But Trump won the other 4. In Maine in 2012, it's blue because Obama won all 4. In 2016, Trump won 1 of the 4. In 2020, Trump won 1 of the 4 in Maine. They do the same thing. They have 2 House members, 2 senators. They have 4 districts for the presidential election. Yeah.
So why do we only have 4 districts, but they can have 5?
Because ours is winner take all. 51% of the popular vote in Kansas, winner take all. We don't use district votes for president, vice president. They're the only 2 states that draw districts. So this is 1 electoral college vote. This is 1. This is 1. This is 1. This is 1.
Right, but they don't have that many representatives.
Right. They have 5 electors though, so they draw 5 districts based on population. Yeah.
So like the votes can be split in that state. It's not just like all 5 for the one.
Now winner take all. Yep, they're the only 2 states that do it that way, and that's their prerogative. Yeah. Yeah, you have to look that one up. Did you find out where president comes from?
From just before.
Oh, just sit before. Huh. There you go. You get to catch that? Didn't know that. Thanks. As far as when did Nebraska likes to be different. They're the only of the 50 states that has a unicameral legislature, right? Yeah. And it must be the corn. Okay. All right, so you got to get to 270. Okay. Now, I think it's 6 times now a candidate has won the popular vote but lost the electoral college. So when we get to the executive branch, guys, later in the semester, we'll revisit the electoral college, and I've got a little section of notes. I'll talk about the positives, the negatives of the electoral college. Okay, but I just want to help you wrap your head around that. Okay, and hopefully that did help wrap your head around it. See me after class if you need help. All right. So we got figure out how we're going to elect the president. Okay. Now we know what we're going to call him. Okay, because that sits above that sits before. Okay, sounds more like a judge, but. Okay, what other compromises we got here? Okay, one of the things, guys, we knew that there would be some foreign policy stuff, right? That the president would be kind of in charge of diplomacy, okay? And so the president also, in the Constitution, is allowed to appoint certain people to office, okay? And when you're talking about diplomacy, you guys know what a treaty is, right? Can the president just make a treaty with another nation? No, he needs advice on that. Not going to make that decision for the country himself. So in this, they said that the Senate would have what's called advise and consent authority. Now, you guys know this, right? That the president deals with foreign leaders, right? You know, President Biden has spoken on the phone recently with President Putin, right? Yes? And probably with the heads of other European powers, just to talk about, you know, what's going on in Ukraine, right? Okay. Now, so in order to do a treaty, you're actually going to need, for a treaty, you're going to need 2/3 of the Senate to approve that. They put a very high threshold on that. Okay. And this is something really George Washington, who had a lot of experience in just dealing with foreigners, you know, the British and the French and the Spanish. And so he's like, yeah, in order for us to do that, there has to be a super majority of people in agreement with that. Okay, because this can get us drawn into wars. These treaties can entangle us in alliances and draw us into a war. And we want to make sure we're getting it right, okay? Now, you also know that the president gets to choose federal judges, right? And cabinet. Now, generally, with your cabinet, if Joe Biden wants Anthony Blinken to be the Secretary of State, who are the Republicans that say he shouldn't be allowed to choose the people he wants to surround himself with? He is the elected president. So generally what you see here is senatorial courtesy. Not EY? Just why? Senatorial courtesy, yes? Does that look wrong?
No.
Okay.
What word?
Federal judges, the cabinet.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, so the president chooses federal judges in the cabinet, but like with courtesy. They have to.
The cabinet generally. Now, when you start talking about the attorney general, who is the chief law enforcement officer of the country, this is a very important position. You may get some resistance from the other party, some resistance. Certainly, when you talk about federal judges who serve for how long, you're going to get some pushback from the other party, okay? Because you can't reverse these decisions on federal judges, okay? There are other heads of different departments in government, in the executive branch, like the head of the EPA, the head of the FDA, which are appointed by the president. Right now, there is a person that is going through Senate confirmation for a new FDA head, Food and Drug Administration. Okay, so like the senators are asking them questions, grilling, make sure that this person's qualified, that they're not an ideological idiot or something like that.
When didn't Trump appoint or want to appoint Amy Coney Barrett, and then what happened with that where she like had to go through like?
They all have to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so these are called Senate hearings, and because it's a judge or justice spot, that will take place in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Okay, so those people in the Senate Judiciary Committee of both parties get to do this with a lot of federal judges because there's a lot of vacancies, you know, over time. So they get good at this. Well, good at it, or you know, they get used to doing it. Okay. Yeah, and it's a lot has to do with their temperament and their ideology. So, and guys, social media gets you in trouble sometimes. You and I in trouble sometimes, maybe. Well, these people that have been appointed to these positions, a lot of them have been on Twitter and have said things that they wish they could take back. Okay, I've watched several clips of Ted Cruz just grilling these people like over these comments they've made on Twitter. Do you really believe what you wrote there? You know what I mean? Because sometimes we say things we may not really mean in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? And so it comes back to haunt you. You know? Makes you look like an ideologue. Well, I'm warning you now. Yeah, I mean, people go dig up stuff I put online. I'd never get elected anything. Except the HO. Nobody's digging that deep into my closet. But there's skeletons in it, all right? That's why I'm not running. I'm just kidding, but not really. Okay. Who wants to put their family through that? You know what I mean? Because, yeah, egomaniacs. Yes. No, seriously, think about how big of an ego you have to run for office, let alone president. Joe Biden's wanted to be president for so long. That was the 4th time he ran for president. You know that, right? And they're like, hey, Joe, stay in the basement. You say what we tell you to say. Everybody hates Trump. Just stay on script. And you're gonna get to be president. He's like, I get to wear a pin. I get to wear like the thing. I get to be the president. Sorry.
Sorry.
4 times. He never even came close. Okay? All right, I gotta move on. I'm sorry. Hey, look. Thing with the Ukraine looks like it's calming down a little bit. That's good news, right? As I told you before, I'm pulling for the guy. Don't want to see war. Okay? Well, look, we can tell whether they're withdrawing or not with satellite images. And they're not withdrawing. They're said they're going to withdraw, or they're withdrawing. The evidence isn't quite there yet. So, hey, Hitler told a lot of lies too, right? Like, give me Czech, give me Sudetenland, I won't touch anything else, right? We'll have peace in our time. So good for Biden because he's still saying, look, this isn't over. Okay, so yeah. All right. Okay. What other things we gotta figure out here? Okay. Where's the Capitol gonna be? Now, DC's not ready yet. So where are they going to meet? New York. First capital under this Constitution. You got Philly, New York, DC. Got it? All right. Hey, how's it going? I'm well. When do we get out of here? Ooh. You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss history.
He's just lost.
Just the best. Right?
Made us so happy.
What was I saying before I got interrupted?
Something like POC in the countdown. We're meeting in New York.
All right, yeah. Oh, yeah, I was going to write on the board. September 17th, 1787, the majority of the delegates vote in favor and sign this new Constitution. Henceforward, Constitution Day. Fly your flag. If you fly a flag at home, that's one of the days you fly your flag. It's September 17th, Constitution Day. Okay, and tell everybody Happy Constitution Day. Okay, now. Sorry? No, I didn't. I forgot. Sorry. All right, because I don't really keep track of what day it is. You know what I mean? It's like. Yeah,
not Friday yet.
At the end of the day, when I'm uploading videos, I put the date on, that's when I see the date, Okay, now, does that mean this business is done? No, it's got to go to the states. And how many states do you need? But you really want all 12, don't you? You gotta have 9. Now, some states are more important than other states. 13. Did I say 12?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I almost said 12.
This is another important December 7th in American history. Yes.
Oh, wait, yeah, it's
Okay.
1940.
There's 13, right? 41, please. Okay. Now.
Delaware's now,
Delaware, the smallest state, ratifies this Constitution. The Senate, which they added to the Virginia plan, right, to give equal representation for the states in the Senate, that's good enough for Delaware. You know what? They're signing on. Okay? So this is the first state. So when you guys, maybe before you were born, I don't remember when they started coming out with state quarters. The states on the back, because they used to just have the eagle on the back, right? And so they started coming out with state quarters. As soon as they started minting those, the first one they minted, that's our first state. Right? Now, that sends a message to other small states, hey, we're good with it too. Okay? Now, but just like before, guys, some states are more important than others. Yes? Like Kansas. Yes?
Yeah.
New York and Virginia. Yes? These are deeply divided. Yes? Now, think about Virginia now. We got the father, two fathers. Father of the Constitution, father of the country, right? You got Madison, you got Washington, Jefferson throws his support behind this thing, even though he's in France. Okay? It's important to remember, guys. Jefferson didn't write the Constitution. Jefferson was not at the convention. Do you understand that? People like to talk about Jefferson and the Constitution. Well, hold on now. He wasn't there. So when people talk about this idea of separation of church and state, that comes from Jefferson. But he wasn't at the Constitutional Convention. He didn't write the Bill of Rights. He didn't write the First Amendment. Okay? Important distinction. But you know what else Virginia has? We got Patrick Henry over here. And he's on the right. These guys are on the left. And people in Virginia respect Patrick Henry. And Patrick Henry does not like this Constitution. He's scaring the crap out of people. You understand? He's like, this is going to take away your liberty. You're going to be elected people from faraway states that are going to tell us how to live our lives. Fast forward to 1861. I'm just saying, what happens in 1861? What did the majority of the states say to Virginia? You see what I'm saying? This is what he's fearful. Now, I'm not saying that was the issue he was fearful of. You know, I mean, it wasn't slavery that he was talking about. He was just talking about your, controlling your own destiny. That will be taken away by this new national government that is much more energetic than the old. Yes? So there's going to be a big debate here. Okay? But it is actually Jefferson when he throws, because he's not there, so he comes in a little bit late, and Virginia will go. Yes, they will ratify. Okay? New York also deeply divided and an important wealthy state. And so there, you guys know this, right? The three men will begin writing essays in the newspapers in New York. Yes? And those, of course, become known as Federalist Papers. Okay, so who are those three guys? The father. Yeah. John Jay. Okay, now, Adams is in London with the king, hanging out with his buddy. Okay, now, Hamilton goes on to become what? Our first what? Madison goes on to become our first what? No, that's Jefferson. Yeah, he's elected to the legislature and goes to the top. Okay. John Jay becomes our first what? Supreme Court. And then he quits. He doesn't die, he quits. Well, when John Jay was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, you know, the Supreme Court didn't have their own building. They met in the unfinished basement of the Capitol. And they had no power of judicial review until 1803, when you had Chief Justice John Marshall. Okay? You guys know what judicial review is, right?
Yeah.
The ability of the Supreme Court or federal courts to interpret whether laws of the legislature or actions of the executive are constitutional or not. They don't have that power until 1803 with the Supreme Court case known as, very good, Marbury versus Madison, 1803. Okay, so Jay's like, screw this job. I'm meeting in the unfinished basement. I have no authority. In fact, one of the papers you guys are going to read will be Hamilton talking about the judicial branch. Okay, and how it is the weakest of the three. Okay, now, that's some heavyweights right there. You got some heavyweights, but they're not going to use their own name. They're going to use a pen name because, like Hamilton, guys, he's one of those people you either love him or you hate him. Hamilton, right? He's a lightning rod. It's like Trump. You say Trump in a crowd of people. What is that? Who's talking about Trump? Then you say Hillary around a bunch of other people, and they're like, who's talking about Hillary? She sucks. Right? You know what I mean? That's Hamilton. So he's not going to attach his name to these because some people won't read them if it's got his name on it. So they use a pen name. What's the pen name? Publius.
How do you know that?
I read the papers.
You read you read them last night?
Yeah.
Bad girl. Woo! Cadence isn't bad. All right. Yeah, so guys, now, John Jay only reads 5 of them. Okay? The rest are written by Hamilton and Madison. And I think Hamilton wrote most of them, right? 51. Yeah, so, like I was telling you at the beginning of class, guys, this is the third most important documents written in American history, behind the Declaration and the Constitution itself. These are of great importance. Well, the Bill of Rights are actually part of the Constitution. We would consider them that because they're amendments to it. Okay. All right. So now they're going to make some very valid arguments in here. Okay. Now, what ends up happening is you get these two camps, right? Those that support the new Constitution are called Federalists. And those opposed whose turn is it today?
I did it yesterday.
That was you?
I was South Carolina yesterday. Remember that?
Are you raising your hand? You want to answer? I got it. Okay. Blaze, what is federalism? So this new Constitution creates that, right? So these people support it. These people don't. Who won? So nobody wants to hear what these people have to say. That's a load of crap. Because these people, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that are worried about your freedom. That this may take away. Follow me? So we need to listen to these people because they make some very good arguments. Yes? And you just brought it up, Grace. The Bill of Rights. There's no Bill of Rights in the Constitution. What? Oh, no. Grace. All the states have bills of rights in there. The national government lists all their powers. So the national government would never go beyond its own powers. You don't have to worry about that. And then the states have bills of rights, so they'll protect your rights from the federal government. Right? I'm not buying that. I'm selling it. And so is Patrick Henry. So is Massachusetts. So is North Carolina. So is Virginia. They will not ratify this Constitution unless there is a promise of a Bill of Rights in it. So can I get a round of applause for the Anti-Federalists, please? Because our rights are written in stone because of that. You understand? There is the Anti-Federalist Papers. The authors there, you're looking at a guy named Elbridge Gerry, or Jerry, where we get the term gerrymandering, okay? Henry Clinton of New York. Hey, Patrick Henry. So I have a copy of the Anti-Federalist Papers around here somewhere, and it's really thick. Okay, it's thicker than this one. Okay, there were a lot of good arguments against this, and a lot of good arguments that Madison will make pushing back at them. Okay, let me just throw another one at you. Patrick Henry really feared that this new president would become like a king. Okay, we've got 230 years to look back on. Have any of our presidents become like a king, like Justin Trudeau in Canada?
Not as bad.
We had one guy elected 4 times. Remember him? Franklin Roosevelt, FDR. We just studied this.
Every 10 years.
Didn't go.
And how many times did legislation he supported get overturned as unconstitutional? So that's the closest thing we've ever had. Was Donald Trump an authoritarian? Yes, he was a dictator. He was an authoritarian. Yes, he was trying to return power to the states instead of gain power in the central government. I'm being facetious. No, our system won't allow it. The system works. It doesn't allow for our president to become all powerful. And unlike Canada, we don't have that little thing in our Constitution like they had in Germany in 1933 that gave the president police powers, dictatorial powers. I don't know if you guys heard about what happened in Canada yesterday. Justin Trudeau enacted part of the Canadian Constitution that's never been used before. That's only there in case of like a major terrorist attack or war. To seize bank accounts of Canadians that are supporting financially the truckers. You give $25 to the truckers to help feed them while they're not driving their trucks, but just sitting in their trucks. With a peaceful protest, they are now seizing your bank accounts. Justin Trudeau.
Why? Why is that?
I think we should liberate Canada.
Twice. You sure about that one? You sure about that one?
Why would
The
you
Russian of the North.
Why would he
Huh?
already north? Why would you?
Russian of our north.
Okay, so 9/11, we had a lot of Muslim charities that were raising money in the United States and sending it overseas. We also had that on the eve of World War II. A lot of German and Italian businesses in the United States. We had to freeze their assets and stuff like that.
Sorry. Almost. We just got
You guys need to watch the news.
Sorry, I didn't pay more attention to what's going on.
I get it. I had essays to grade. Did I grade any last night? No. But I got here early this morning, and I graded 2 back to back.
Whoa.
40s.
Nice.
Never happened before. Back to back 40s. One in here and one in the other class. Nope.
I guarantee you.
I wrote on one of them. I was like, shh, shh, shh. Yeah. Nailed it. 40. Pretty good. And then the next one was, I had like 2 comments on each that were very light comments. Okay, so I'm working. I gave my first hour of time to work on their homework so I could grade.
It's okay, you don't have to.
I've graded 17.
That's about the same topic.
No, it's terrible. I gave the test a week ago today.
It's okay.
But at the same time,
That's like
it's like
3 a day.
reading the same thing over and over.
I would not. Same.
Okay, the better they are, the easier they are to grade. So, okay. All right. No. Okay. We are caught up. We're caught up, and so tonight, guys, take your books home. Okay. And then you just gotta gamble. Like now, Cadence is ready. She's prepared. Okay. Will you be prepared tomorrow if you have to come to school? No. Yes. Drew, you're going to read this tonight. And if you don't, you better get your butt up in the morning and read this before you get in class. I'm going to be pissed, and you guys are going to get 3 out of 3 for the discussion instead of 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
We'll figure it out.
You are not. This is brand new to you.